folks. You're about to hear a tale of a fish like no other. A fish that went by the cute and sweet name Nubbin, but faced hell, pain, and hardship like no other. All due to the inexperience and stupid actions of his owner. And that owner is me. You're going to about to hear the tale of a fish that died and came back to life. A fish that lived on the edge of death, yet brought new life to thousands. You're going to hear the tale of Nubbin, the strongest goldfish this world's ever seen. This whole tale starts when I got my first goldfish tank, and I was looking for the cutest and most adorable fish to put in it. I found Nubbin, a Ranchu goldfish, at my local pet store. I bought him, I put him in the tank, and I thought, oh, it might be helpful if I took the face off the filter, the hang-on back filter, to allow larger pieces of poop to be sucked up easier. Little did I know, when I took that face of the filter off, I made an opening big enough for Nubbin to fit in. One day I come back to my filter, and I hear a grinding noise. It's not pumping correctly. I quickly shut it off, and little Nubbin shoots out of that tube, the water intake tube. He was in there, and he got sucked up because I took that filter face off. That fish was on the edge of death. Fins shredded, bloody. Body all torn up, scales ripped off, bloody, bloody, bloody. His wen was destroyed. I thought he was going to die. I didn't have an extra tank. I didn't know what to do. I just added some salt in the tank and prayed for the best. And that powerful fighter of a fish, he healed up. He healed up and he grew strong. He grew big. He almost died that day, but he survived. That was his first near-death experience, first of, unfortunately, many. His second near-death experience happened, well, this one's not even a near-death experience. He did die this time. He died. And he actually rose from the dead. You see, I used to shut my filter off at night. I shut it off because it was too loud and noisy. Little did I know that oxygen levels dropped when the filter is off, and ammonia levels spike too. But that's not what killed Nubbin. The oxygen levels dropped one night when it was especially warm. I woke up to find two of my other fish completely dead, Nubbin dead too. I knew this was not the end of Nubbin. This was not the end of him. I immediately tried to resuscitate all the fish. I got an air stone, and I kept it. I kept it underneath their gills, and I put him in a separate bucket, and I kept him there for 5 minutes. No movement in any of them. I said, I'm not giving up. 10 minutes went by. No movement. I had the air stone. I'm trying to get the oxygen into his blood. No movement. Nothing. 15 minutes goes by. Still nothing. 20 minutes. 25 minutes. 30 minutes goes by of me with my hands filled with these 3 fish in the air stone at their gills. I was close to giving up. I thought this 30 minutes has gone by. I kept up. I pulled them out of the water. No mouth movement. Nothing. I thought they were done. They were not done. Well, at least Nubbin was not done. Nubbin came back to life. He came back to life 35 minutes from the air stone. The other 2, I waited 40, 45 minutes, nothing, and they perished. But Nubbin lived. He lived to see another day. He rose from the dead. Soon after Nubbin rose from the dead, I decided to build an outdoor pond. I brought him out there. I had some females there with him too, and I bred him. I bred him many times. I bred him with at least 5 different females. He brought life to thousands of new fish. But unfortunately, winter struck. And me being an inexperienced keeper did not realize how slow some of these fish get at winter. I left the pump going. I had it on the bottom of the tank. Nubbin got so slowed down by the cold that the pump pulled him against the face, and the pump sucked him against the face of the pump, and he was stuck there for who knows how long. But that pump ripped the skin and the scales off his left side. I don't know how long he was there. He could have been there hours. I eventually found the pump was not pumping correctly. I went and checked, and there I saw Nubbin against the face. I immediately pulled him off. I was a little more experienced at this point, so I set up a hospital tank, put some antibiotics, some salt in there. Nubbin healed. Nubbin healed up. And he lived a whole nother year. I bred him even more. But then the tale of Nubbin came to an end. You see, this fish began to develop an infection on the back of his head. I saw a little red mark. I didn't think it was very much. I let him be. He's Nubbin. Nothing can touch Nubbin. He's invincible. Or so I thought. You see, that little red patch didn't stay so little for so long. That red patch grew. And it grew. And I noticed his wen started to get inflamed. And then he started to slow down a little bit. That's when I realized I have to treat this fish. This is a serious infection. I got him in the hospital tank. I threw a bunch of antibiotics in there. I threw salt. I threw aloe vera juice. I did everything I possibly could. I researched. But this infection, this fourth attempt at Nubbin's life, unfortunately took him. And that's where the tale of Nubbin ends. It was a sad and hard story. And unfortunately, through that hardship is where I learned very valuable lessons. To research, to not be stupid when I'm taking care of a living animal. Unfortunately, that fish had to suffer for me to learn that. Nubbin lives on today through his many, many children. Brad and Olivia, all children of Nubbin. But let this be a lesson to any fish keeper or any pet keeper in general. You have to do your research. You have to learn the requirements and needs of an animal before you start taking care of one. Unfortunately, Nubbin suffered because I was an idiot. I made many mistakes. And those mistakes caused him to eventually die. Let Nubbin's suffering not go in vain. Let his death not be in vain. Let us all realize that we need to learn. We need to do our research. We need to study before we go out and buy an animal, because they are a living thing. They feel pain. And we can't let us do what I did to Nubbin. We got to learn from our mistakes. Hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and really just do your research. That is the moral of the story. Do your research and don't be stupid. Thank you for listening to this tale.